Merry Christmas, everyone, and welcome to Walford Weekly, your weekly EastEnders podcast, where this week we'll be discussing the episodes that were released on the BBC from Monday the 20th to Sunday the 26th of December 2021. It's Christmas week.
Yeah, it is.
It is, and look who's joining me this week. It's Ben. Look, it's Ben, everyone.
I've stepped in. I'm doing up to the 26th.
Yeah.
And then Rob's back from the 27th to New Year's, I think.
Yes, but then from then on in, because it's just this week. So any Rob fans, I am sorry.
We're fitting this in.
We are just squeezing it in.
Between our thighs.
Yeah, it's the awkward part, isn't it? It's the bit that Christmas is over and now you're just waiting for New Year to happen. It's the kind of like the delay, the kind of lull in your life.
Week. We don't know what to do. But EastEnders is on a Sunday, which just confuses everyone.
Well, EastEnders was on all week. It was on a Saturday and a Sunday.
Non-stop.
I mean,
and tonight.
Yes.
So we're getting this out as quick as possible.
Because the New Year's episodes is only 4, but for Christmas there's, 6, 7 episodes?
Quite a lot.
Was there...
Quite a lot going on. Do
you think it was warranted that we had this many episodes for Christmas?
I would say they could have made Christmas Day an hour and just not done Boxing Day, maybe. Because Boxing Day was sort of just like the way it ended and started were both the same thing.
Yes. There was aftermath.
It was just a round trip.
Yes,
basically
round trip round the square.
But we got drunk Kathy and Sonia. So
well, we also got Kathy going ha ha all the time throughout the episode on Christmas Day.
A Christmas laugh.
I mean, I recommend that you rewatch the Christmas Day episode and see how many times you can hear Kathy go.
I can't do it deep enough of her.
Anyway, so obviously we're going to talk about Christmas week this week, but we're going to do it a little bit different because normally we have when I'm doing it with Rob, we have a structured, like we're talking about this and this.
Is this show not structured?
I mean, it's nice to have some structure in my life, but I thought because it's Christmas, as you can see from what I'm wearing, and also the cat seems to be having a great time over there for Christmas. I mean, and he's gone now. He's just left, so there'll be no distraction noise in the background. As it's Christmas, I thought that... before I go ahead with this, sorry. Don't forget, you can watch this on YouTube or you can listen to us on your favourite podcast app.
Yeah, you can hear the cat on both.
You can hear the cat. You can't see the cat, but at some point the cat will probably find a way onto the back. In a minute, it'll just jump up from nowhere.
You have to look on YouTube because we've got a Christmas set, so you just have to... Even if it's just for 10 seconds... Just look at our Christmas set.
And do you know what else is good to watch on YouTube? Our tier list. Because both you, me, and Rob... Both. I say both. Every time I say both. I said it at the end of the last podcast. All three of us had made a tier list for our characters of 2021.
One each. Our version of Vlogmas.
It is our version of Vlogmas. So far, I think Rob's is the one that most people agree with, I have to say.
I've not been looking, actually.
I mean...
I'm not about the numbers.
It's not about the numbers.
The comments.
It's the comments. It's the comments. Anyway, so because it's Christmas and we're doing the stories of Christmas and EastEnders,
yes, I hope
we've got... a hat of stories.
Yes, I can hear that.
A hat of stories.
The cat's enjoying it down there. I'm
terrified of what the cat's pupils are so large right now. So would you? There's the stories of the week in here.
Okay.
Do you want to choose the first one?
Put my fingers in.
Stick your
one at a time.
Stick your fingers inside my elf
Gently
hat.
go in.
Go on, nice and gentle.
Woo-hoo. This is very OnlyFans. Possibly. Right, I've got my first one.
I'll put this here, ready for...
Right, first up, we have the Sharon, Phil, Kat and Zack storyline.
Oh, right, yes. Because this is...
I was thinking then, why is Kat on that list? But I've just remembered that they're a couple, aren't they?
Kat got jealous of the relationship between Sharon and Phil. And I want to say straight off the bat, let's be honest, I think Sharon is playing to get Phil back.
I know, she's not being very subtle, is she?
Not at all.
Eyelashes and her straightened hair and her... breasts in his face. So she's going for that Mitchell D again.
Vibe. D, so...
Which I'm not against. I don't particularly want Sharon to get back with Phil, but I don't like Kat and Phil together. Like that scene in the car lot. No, not the car lot, in their laundrette when they said they loved each other.
No, wasn't it in Walford East?
No, it was in the... it was in the taxi.
They had lots of scenes this week. They were moving around, weren't they?
But they kissed each other. I think that was the first time we've seen them kiss, is it? Since social distancing, Kat and Phil.
Oh, were they bubbled?
I'm not sure, they kissed each other and said they loved each other, and it was just sent a shiver down me.
It's a marriage on the cards then, do you think?
Well, Richie did say, didn't she? Was it like a few months whenever Richie was in it, she said, the next Mrs. Mitchell might walk through that door, and then Kat walked through, or something like that. So I'm assuming that's going to be coming up. But hopefully Sharon can stop the wedding.
Do you see? No, I don't want Sharon and Phil get back together.
Nor do I.
Because I've liked seeing Sharon away from Phil. It's been nice. She's actually had stories. She's actually been able to do her own thing.
Destroy Sharon as a character.
Yeah, and he's interfered again, because now he's interfered with Jada and Alyssa.
His private detective. He's finally found her.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised his private detective, because everyone he knows legally are on holiday, aren't they? They're all on Tenerife or whatever. So I'm surprised his private detective aren't in the same place. But yes, so but again, this is Phil interfering with Sharon's life. Him basically, him then messing it up, but then palming off the blame to someone else, i.e. Zack this time around.
And Sharon straight away was like, Zack, get out. You're
get out of my
house.
It's like,
I don't know where Zack's living, because he was quite happy on Boxing Day. He was well groomed.
He said he did look very well groomed, but he said he was sofa surfing, wasn't he? He was like living on a mate's sofa over Christmas.
Martin's at Sharon's.
No, Martin. Yeah, he's staying at his own house. I mean, that's again because Martin's staying with Sharon as well. I mean, they all live in that little tiny flat.
Well, she's bought Ruby's house, hasn't she? We think.
No, she bought Ruby's house thinking that she was going to end up with the baby, but then that fell through because of Zack, but really Phil.
No, but she has bought it though, because she said to Alyssa, "I bought a house." Or has she gone back on it?
I know. I think she was in the run to get the house,
because it said sold on her house. And then another scene, it was taken off, and then it was sold again. So I don't know if it's continuity or if Sharon's...
Or there's a little story happening in the background that we don't know about. There could be like a whole new story.
War.
Yeah, the bidding war in Walford estate agents.
Ruby in prison.
Yeah, I mean, poor Ruby as well. I feel
I wonder how her Christmas was.
I bet she had a terrible Christmas.
No one visited her.
Do you reckon she had some ghosts from her past come visit her in prison? Maybe. A la Bad Girls. I love Bad Girls. But this isn't a Bad Girls podcast.
We're talking about Sharon.
We're talking about Sharon.
She's also a bad girl.
She is a bad girl. So she gate crashed the Christmas day around Phil and Kat.
Yeah, well, Phil invited her, but then didn't tell Kat.
Didn't tell anyone.
It was a big mistake, because she turned up with like gifts, and then they were all giving her looks. Even Jean wasn't impressed to see her. Yeah,
well, it's Slaters, isn't it? They stick together, they band together and look after one another. I mean, you've not had an opportunity yet, actually, verbally to talk about this. You've said it a few times on Twitter, on our Twitter at Walford Weekly. Find us. What's your opinion on Kat's decoration? Because Rob thought it looked a bit like a sex clinic for a therapist. So
the living room,
the living room does okay. But what about the kitchen?
The kitchen looks like a doctor's office. The hallway looks like the place on The Simpsons where there's a burlesque house.
Oh,
the hallway looks like that.
Maison Derrière.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's very Kat and not Phil, isn't it? It's very Slater and not Mitchell. So I'm wondering...
Another fire?
No. We could hope. I'm wondering if maybe the Slaters end up with that's the new Slater house, because the bar is in there now, Pat's bar.
Oh, is it?
With them. That's in the lounge.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if, obviously, Sharon has Ruby's house. Is Phil and Sharon going to shack up there together? And he's going to give Kat the house as like a... I'm sorry.
As appeasement to kind of say... Yeah. So you think Phil's going to have an affair with Sharon? Do you think that's happening?
Well, I don't know. But it's very Slater house, not Phil house, because there's a leopard print carpet on the stairs.
That's true. That's
very blue.
Yeah. I just think...
But there's a picture of Phil and Grant on the walls, so...
Yeah, but this is the thing with the set decoration at the moment. They seem to, they're desperately trying to pull at our nostalgia strings. Because in Sharon's house, she has a picture of Rolly on the wall, and, Ange and Den, and
she has a box full of, the Fowlers' family photos for some reason.
She stole from Pauline after Pauline was found dead in the square garden. She was like, oh, I'll have that. Yoink.
They always do that at Christmas, don't they?
Oh,
the past 3 Christmases now, they've done the Lou Bill mentioned by Kathy, who hated Lou Bill.
Yeah.
So I don't know why she's so chatty about her now. It was nice seeing Martin talk about Mark, though. That was quite nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
Because that Martin doesn't really talk about his family, the James by Martin, does he? So that was nice. But yeah, they always ring out those photos. Old Michelle was on the photos as well, not new Michelle.
Yeah.
So, she's been wiped from history.
But new Michelle was a choice, wasn't it? Let's just be honest with you. But I guess where the future leads then is what's going to happen because Kat's jealousy is basically kind of interfering with the Sharon trying to get Jada. Is the kid called Jada or is the kid called Alyssa? Alyssa's the kid, isn't it?
Yes.
And
Jada's the mum girl who they tracked down. But Kat was just like, just give it up. Maybe she doesn't want you.
Yeah.
Like, Kat is the voice of reason in that situation.
Kat's been such a, like, sorted out Phil's life entirely. Like, every time Phil's at a problem or hits something that he shouldn't be interfering with, Kat's always the one with the sound advice.
I do like Kat this year. She's been really good. The only thing I don't like is her and Phil saying they love each other, because it's just disgusting. It's not for me.
I mean, a lot of people do like their relationship.
I know.
I feel like it's kind of struck.
No, not for me.
No, not for you. Nah.
Not for me.
Not for you.
Something in it tastes like.
And also, like I was going to say, Zack and Martin, their bromance has blossomed this year. That's something
ever since someone died.
Ever since the huge mistake of Kush's death. Which is, anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit. Do you like that Zack and... Do you like that Martin's got this kind of like...
I do like Zack, even though he is a character created to patch up mistakes.
Yes.
He's still... The actor's done such a good job that I like him as a character. But he is just always that reminiscence of he's a fix for mistakes of the past.
A mistake that was made.
Multiple into one.
Shall we get the hat out?
Okay. Do you want to put it in this time?
I will. Right, here we go. I'm going to fist it in. I'm going to go into the fist and then open up my fingers. Right. What are you hoping for here for the story next?
Dunno.
If your reply...
Chelsea?
No. If your reply is Sonia, Tom, Dotty, Sandy and Kathy...
That's a big one.
With a little sprinkling of Stuart and Rainey on top, then that's what we're talking about next.
I mean, they were kind of put in at the end, weren't they?
They were.
They always are, those two.
I know, which is always
They're
a
just
shame.
sprinkled in a scene somewhere.
It's like, oh, Stuart and Rainey's here. Let's just remember them. Let's start with Stuart and Rainey then, because obviously we're continuing the story with Stuart with his breast cancer, which at first I wasn't too keen about them doing. I wanted them to go down a different route with his cancer, perhaps testicular cancer, but actually I really like what they've done now with this story. I always champion a story with Rainey. I love Rainey. I think she's such a good, well-rounded character, and she's had.
She never gets to do much though, does she?
Which is a
Which
crime.
is weird. It is, because the actress never stays on this long.
Yeah, this is the
time
longest.
she has, and now they don't let her do anything.
And I'm surprised that I like her still, because normally I think I liked Rainey because she dipped in, had a really big story, then dipped back out again. But this time, as you say, she's kind of hung around, and I like that they've connected her with Stuart. And the thing that I'm finding maddening is the fact that I think that Stuart would be more honest with Rainey than what he is, because I think he's quite an open guy.
I know, they always do this with someone's ill. They the person doesn't tell the person.
Which is what they did with Jean.
It's like, but people do tell people.
Yeah, of
and it's
course.
like, they're literally just making him not tell her just because it's like drama or whatever. But like, there's so much more drama to be found in Rainey, like trying to help him.
Exactly.
Or stuff like that. I think there's more to it.
Yeah.
But Sonia got drunk and sort of just said to him,
"Yeah,
talk
man
about
up."
your cancer, yeah! Like in the middle of the bit, shouting out. It's like, all right, Sonia, drop the C word just casually on Boxing Day.
I mean, Sonia was upset, to be fair, and that was because of the reveal this week.
I was a bit disappointed by the reveal. I wanted it to be a bit more explosive than it was. It felt like a bit of a... She just said it over Dotty.
I'm sorry,
That's the
our
cat.
cat has just gone nuts since we started recording.
Dotty kind of just said it over the table, and then it was like... I don't know. I wanted something more drama about it. It felt a bit casual the way she said it. She was like, oh, by the way, this has happened and I'm losing my money, but I don't mind.
Yeah. Well, Dotty did it out of anger, didn't she? Because she felt like... I think she felt
She's
like...
more loyal to her mum for some reason.
Yes.
It's appeared.
Yeah, which God knows why, because her mum is an awful, awful person. But also I think...
She's really annoying, her mum.
Yeah, it really is. The character is just really... I would not be upset if the character just kind of like did rehab and you didn't hear any more about it. But
Good
also...
actress, but the character is just annoying. But not in a good way.
But I also thought that Tom...
Who's Tom?
Exactly. I also thought that Dotty thought that Tom had kind of got his feet under the table a little bit, and there was almost like
He
a
was
jealousy
kind of more
there.
accepted than her. wasn't she, I
Yeah,
guess?
and there's a jealousy there, I think, and I think that was another reason why she kind of went out her way to kind of like ruin her own plan.
To ruin him more.
To ruin him. You say it's ruined him more, but actually it's not really, because like Dotty got shouted down in the Vic on the Boxing Day episode by drunk
Kath.
Sonia and Kath. And And so, you know, she has basically mucked it up for herself. But something else, which I wonder if Sandy, I don't know, because this is rewritten history now, but Sandy said...
second reveal. The double twist.
The double twist. The knife went in and twisted.
The triple twist.
The fist went in and twist. The fist twist. Tom is actually Dotty's real dad, and so it's not Nick. But do you not think, for me, that Sandy said that purely just because she wanted to basically upset?
I mean, it depends
Dotty.
how much they filmed, I guess, because it's one of those things that could it's like when Denise's mum was like, "You're not Kim's sister.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a taxi. Bye," and then she just disappeared. That was kind of like rewritten. Like, no, that's not happening. And they did the same with the Jay possibly being Wilmot Brown's dad. Two-hander.
Oh, yeah.
They rewrote that really quickly, didn't they?
Rewrote that, yeah. So there's still time for Tina not being dead. And there's still time for Jordan not to be dead as well.
Well, she's naming a baby after Jordan, so that kind of implies he's dead.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about Chelsea and Grey. But, well, you say...
But they could rewrite this and just say, Sandy was bitter or whatever, and just say...
You could easily do that, because Sandy is a very
unless there's something else that's
character.
going to happen next.
But how do you feel about if it's not going to get rewritten, and that basically this whole time this 20-year-old woman, and we've seen her when she was a child as well, after she got sold. She still says
she's Nick's daughter, though,
she did. She still
Vinny.
Feels like she's Nick's son.
It's daughter.
Daughter, sorry. But
yeah, I don't know. It just it almost makes her more irrelevant, because not Terry, whatever his name. What's his name? Tom Cotton.
Rocky.
Brian Connolly. He's not going to be one of them who's going to stick around for years, I don't think.
Do you know? I don't know. I think he likes the role.
I hope so. I do like him. I was wary of it to begin with, but if he disappears and Sandy disappears and she's not a Cotton and she's not related to Dot, like, where is there left for her?
Well, this is it, because then she's got no kind of legacy on the square.
It's silly, because since Tiff left, I thought they would have then put more on Dotty to then take the role of Tiff, but they've now alienated her even more over dinner. But
in a weird way, I'm hoping that a shock Dot return will basically iron out all the creases, and she'll be like, "Oh no, Dotty, I actually know for certain you're Nick's." And like she'll get it done, because we know that DNA tests are rife on Albert Square, and they just dish out the information to anyone who has an email address. So, I mean, there has to be. I would have thought that Dotty would want to know for sure, and there has to be some kind of.
She's not going to get the inheritance now, is she? I guess.
Well, this is another reason.
Dot might still see her as her granddaughter, maybe. Because Sonia's not related to her by blood. Yeah, I mean, it does frustrate me slightly, and I kind of get Dotty's frustration, the fact that her whole, inheritance is pending on Sonia's approval of her. It's also, because Dot's not even dead yet. They're talking like she's dead for years. Dishing out money to anyone who'll have it. £10,000 a cafe. Yeah, at least Dr. Legg had the decency to wait until he died to give it to Dot. He did. Dot's handed it over already for some weird reason. But what would Legg be thinking right now if he was watching the square? Hey, he'd be turning in his grave. But it does raise more questions, because we now know that Tom is Charlie's illegitimate son. Yes, right? That much is true. But we don't know how Nick and Tom know each other, or how Sandy knew both Tom and Nick. Which is the other strange thing. Which is really weird. So there's lots of again, this storyline always just brings more questions than answers, which never seem to get answered. How do they know each other, and how did Sandy know both Cottons? It's really odd. It's just like an unnecessary extra. I mean, you saying it's a double twist. Yes, fine. It was a double twist. So just for the sake of it, but it just leads to more questions which they won't answer, which is the point. Because it's again, it's something I've kind of argued on the podcast. It's that they love throwing these spanners in the works without thinking, well, how do we work our way around it? What comes of this, or why? Why, and what we're going to do. Which is the Tom thing, if you think about it. They obviously planned that there was going to be this big reveal. That you find out that Tom isn't Sonia. Tom isn't Terry. Terry can't. Even though again raised loads of questions because of the NHS thing and the heart attack and his NHS number. The doctor was like, "Oh, the system's down today." So it was never questioned. But the whole time he was in A&E. Yeah, and the letter which Stuart found, and you're like, "Oh, okay." And then it's just "Oh, there's a rat," and then Sonia went scared, and then he's put the letter in his pocket. Yeah, never mentioned again. And it's like, well, what was the point there? And also, when Kathy and
Kathy said, to Jack.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't. You're always good with faces.
Yeah,
it was like, he just said the right things.
Didn't think about it, really.
Yeah, but it was nice that they kind of brought
telling Carol.
Yeah, because the first thing we said was that he'd met Terry. So it was nice that they kind of acknowledged that, I suppose.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it was just kind of written off like a fart in the wind. It was just completely forgotten.
Well, it has to be, because there's no real logical explanation. There's no reason that Carol hasn't seen any of this. There's no mention of it. Like, I wish they'd shown Sonia phoning Carol and being like, guess what? But at least the real Terry's out there still.
Yes, which they could introduce, and there's lots of stories they could do with that.
I'd quite like them to introduce her. Like, she tracks the real. She's like, I'm going to find my real dad,
because that's what she was doing, tracking down her dad before lockdown.
And then she finds him, and he's like a real waste of space layabout, and she realizes, the fake dad I had was my actual dream, and this is what I'm left with. That would be quite interesting for Sonia, I think. And then she's like, I shouldn't search.
Tom was so bad after
these. Yeah. Maybe that could be then a way for Tom staying in if Brian wants to.
But this is it. This is that they need to find a get out clause, because I think that they found a character that actually the public quite enjoy. How do they now write him, keep him in? I mean, they did it with Stuart. And Stuart felt like an impossible character to keep in, but they did it.
He's not done anything evil, really. He's like, I know he took
police
money.
Officer, Dean Gaffney.
For Sonia, though.
D.I. Gaffney. Yeah.
So I don't know. It was a nice. It just wasn't very dramatic over the Christmas table.
No, because that one
the reveal just didn't seem to punch quite right.
Yeah, you'd think there would be more of a reaction. A turkey being thrown, perhaps, over the table or something like that.
Yeah, or gravy jug poured on him or something.
Yeah, on his lap. Like, keep that hidden away. But I mean, and as I said, I just feel like there was an unnecessary second aspect to it, a second part.
And that wasn't really much, because she just walked off. It's like, bye, Sandy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sandy's gone, but she's got the rehab place, which was the whole point of all this, and now Sandy's kind of run away. But she is a waste of time. I don't know why. I get that Dotty was her daughter, and she wanted to look after her mum.
But is she? Maybe she's not. I'm not your mum. Your mum's Dot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, why? But it's not out of the realms of possibility for the production to accrue to actually. I bet you they sat down and considered that.
Yeah. Who could Tom have slept with? What character? Sonia.
Yeah.
I'm not your dad. I'm your grandfather. Yeah, it's all very messy.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame because, as you say, it's introduced to an interesting character. It's nice that they've given Sonia something to do.
Yeah, she did a good little performance of Natalie Cassidy. Yeah,
she was crying. Her lip was wobbling. So was Tom's.
His was really wobbling.
Really wobbling. It's
like Joey from Friends that did a little bit when he's trying to say to her how to act. Like,
he's pulling a pube from him with tweezers.
Yeah. So Kathy, she bought her something special for him, and I'm guessing sexy underwear or a nightie she was talking about, but she's not going to use it.
Well, she's not going to use it for Tom. That's not to say Kathy won't use it for someone else.
That's true.
Kathy has been on the dating apps recently. And poor old Peter, but Peter...
his meat business.
His fake vegan business. I mean, if everyone's going to fall him... He wasn't keen on doing vegan stuff anyway.
No. So, poor Pete.
He's lost, what, £20,000? No, Kathy's lost the money. It's Kathy who lent him the money.
Oh, yeah.
Because she believed in Tom. She believed, see? So Kathy's lost more than
She's going to be working in that cafe another 20 years now.
But she owns everything, though. She's
running it all.
Little empire.
She just can't find love.
I mean, no one will ever replace, not Phil, I was about to say Phil. A lot of things will replace Phil, but Peter. But she was,
Not the market trader.
What? The market trader.
Where his name was? He was weird. The vicar, that's who needs to come back.
Alex.
Yeah.
Alex.
She needs to carry on her affair with him.
But they can't bring him back because they killed off old, his sister.
Mel.
That was a mistake as well. Oh, God. Although it did lead to a wonderful scene with Sharon in the car and the tight zoom. So, yeah.
The best scene ever.
Yeah, there you go. Do you want to pick up the next story then from the little elf hat?
Let's keep going.
The elf void.
Yeah, for the people listening.
Yeah, you could be watching this on YouTube and you'd be seeing all kinds of stuff. You'd be seeing cats running around and all stuff.
Right.
Where are we at?
Oh, the big one.
This is it. This is the
Chelsea,
ultimate.
Gray, Kirat, Kim, Denise, Jack.
Yes.
Amy. No, she wasn't there, was she?
Well, she was there. Well, she made a really horrible comment, Amy. She walked past
Mia.
And because she was drawing a picture of her mum.
Her curly queen.
Yes, curly queen. And she went, I don't know why you think you're so special. My mum's dead too. It's like, all right, Amy.
I know. I remember she drew some things for Roxy's grave, actually, when Shaorn came back, didn't she?
Oh, she's a bitter queen. It's old Amy. I mean,
horrible.
You know, but, like her mum, I guess.
So we had a big double wedding, didn't we? What a glorious ceremony.
Was it a big double wedding? They left the set excited on Christmas Day. I thought, oh my gosh.
I know, we're actually seeing something.
We're seeing something outside of the square here. You know, funerals have happened off screen, weddings have happened off screen. Yeah. Are we actually going to see a wedding? No, they went off set just to do a build up to the wedding, which we then never saw. Yeah. It's just so pointless.
I mean, we didn't see the Gray and Chelsea one because there was the surprise that whether they got married or not with Whitney and Vic. But they could have shown Denise and Jack at least in their civil partnership.
Well, it was unimportant, wasn't it, in the long term? Yeah,
but we haven't seen any of them together. They've been together like 2 years nearly. Yes. We've barely seen anything. At least show us a wedding. Our Libby didn't turn up.
But what, Squiggle?
Yeah, she was hungover or something, wasn't she?
I know, they really did the dirty on Squiggle.
But they didn't even show the wedding, so they could have just said, Libby was at the wedding actually, we just didn't show it.
But to be fair, if they said that she was at the wedding but she then had to get home early, you would have then complained that she didn't come back to the reception. Yes,
she had to get home. She's doing a shift at the NHS. Is she a nurse?
Well, no, she's in Holby.
Oh yeah, she's doing a degree or something, isn't she? I don't know.
I'm
sure it's a doctor, isn't she?
All I remember is that she stopped doing her degree because she was going to look after her mum, but then Denise was like, no, I'm fine, because this was when Denise had no money storyline. And she was, you know...
They could have easily written that Libby was there, though. She's in the toilet in the Vic. She was at the wedding.
Oh, the whole time writing off.
She's too drunk. She's around the corner.
Throwing up in the park. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't see any of it.
I feel that Libby not being at the wedding is the least of our worries.
No, I know. But it did annoy me, because they bothered saying Libby can't come, but they didn't say why.
So. You just wanted to see Squiggle.
Yeah, Libby could have worked out Gray. She could have worked with Whitney for an episode or two.
Someone who did go to the wedding, though, who wasn't going to go, was Kim. So Kim wasn't going to turn up. We're going to start with the Kim then.
She was going to Scotland.
She was going to go back to Scotland. She got her suitcases packed because she was really frustrated and upset that she felt like that everyone was basically completely writing off the fact that Vincent was dead and that Phil Mitchell was going to get away with it. Another thing that Phil Mitchell got away with it.
Which I'm sure he still will.
He still will.
Jack said he could go for life. It's like,
we were all like, no, he won't.
2 weeks, maybe, if it had a stretch.
How long's pantomime season? What, 6 weeks? Yeah, we'll wait for 6 weeks in January.
I can't wait to see how they write themselves out of this one.
Again, it's another hole that they've done.
No evidence. Okay. Everything dropped.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, so the guy who worked at the scrapyard has said he's going to put a testimony forward, and Jack's going to help him.
Huey, isn't it? Huey.
Yeah, Huey
Kim's next love interest, I feel.
Do you think? It's interesting.
I do think.
I do like that Kim kept trying to usher her children away from Huey every time when he knocks on the door in the Santa scene. They're going, Santa! Go inside!
You never saw her son. She just shouted to Pearl, get Mika
Close
away.
the door, be quiet.
Put Mika in the car, and you never saw him.
Mummy's talking. Yeah.
But when she opened the cupboard to get her suitcase, I thought she was going to open the cupboard and all the kids were going to be
tumbling out.
All the kids we haven't seen in like a year, like Ricky and Amy, Bert, Ernie, Tommy, Scarlett.
They've all been locked up in the cupboard.
It's a Christmas episode, you can come out.
Come on. Again, because we saw Billy and Honey's kids this week as well, running around the square.
Will look very grown up. Every time I see him, he looks like 10 years older.
Will's really grown, hasn't he? He's a bit like Martin in the 90s. Like, one minute he was this little boy, he was like just crying in the corner, and next minute he became this
in a
man.
Gang.
Yeah.
But how long till Will's in a gang? That's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, they are, aren't they? Or Janet. Janet could be in a gang.
Yeah, DJ
Janet. Yeah. They never show that anymore, do they? That was another... She's a model. I keep forgetting.
She's multi-talented.
Although she's only ever done one job, and that was in Florida for 2 weeks, where she racked up a huge phone bill.
Model life.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
She should do America's Next Top Model. Series, 37?
I'm surprised Kim doesn't use her being an influencer as well. They could join her. Or Tiff.
Oh, I must say, a good shot for this year for Kim walking from the outside to the inside of the Vic set.
Oh yeah, live
I was
stream.
very impressed with that.
I don't know how Kim has any followers because her live streams are like 30 seconds. She doesn't do anything on them. She goes, oh, hello, and then she just goes off.
She gets interrupted, doesn't she? She's like, back in a minute, on this break. And then
does she know what a live stream is?
I don't know, but that must be how she's making her money, because she's not working anywhere else.
What's that what's it called? That stupid storyline they gave her?
Oh, Love Fox or something.
Foxcatcher.
Yeah. The dating,
loads of money.
Dating app, which God knows how she...
only works in Walford.
Yeah. She built an app by herself. I mean, no offence to Kim, but I doubt that Kim could build an app by herself.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't go to Scotland though. That's where we're going. We got a bit sidetracked there. Yeah. She was going to Scotland, and then Huey turned up, and he warned Jack and Denise, and they all teamed together to take down Phil and frame him or find evidence about the murder.
Yes, which if only Jack still had that
technically murder him.
No, Phil didn't, but he had a part to play, so they could interview Phil, and Phil could possibly give information away.
No comment.
Yeah. Get Richie.
Look at Richie.
Get Richie. Well, no, he might get older Gray, mightn't he? Because Gray now works for him.
Oh no, because Ben gave him one job and he messed it up, didn't he?
Oh, that's right.
Maybe he could get Eve. I don't know what her job is. Is she a lawyer?
Eve works with Gray.
Oh yeah. Laura. She's the best lawyer.
I mean, Laura's a damn good lawyer.
She'd get him off.
She knew instantly that she was getting tweets from Gray, didn't she? From an anonymous account.
He's worse than 20 murderers she's sent down. Apparently.
Well, technically
she's
he's
not
a
too
murderer.
fast. He's walking around.
Yeah.
Old Laura. Didn't see her at Christmas. I wanted her to turn up.
I wanted Laura. So we're talking.
I object.
Yeah, I wanted Laura to.
She walks in with a judge's hammer.
and what's those, the wigs and a long gown.
That's how Gray could die. Get hit with a judge's hammer. That's new.
What, a gavel?
Yeah,
death by gavel.
That'd be a new one. Chelsea could buy him one as a present because he's got his new company, and then that could be the murder weapon.
Yeah, that's true. They could do that.
That's new.
I mean, this is the thing. This is the.
I want him. I don't know if I want him murdered.
I don't want him murdered because.
Yeah, but then there's a chance he can come back, like Lucas.
Yeah, but that's fine. But it could be years in the making.
I want him to get sent to prison, and they're like, "You're Sharon," and they open the door, and Lucas is in there, and then
that'd
Lucas
be good.
is like, "Right, you messed up my daughter," and then he has an eternity of being bullied in prison.
Bullied
by Lucas.
But how would he get there then? Because the story with Gray and Denise...
They'll invent something.
This week, the story with Gray and Denise this week is that Whitney's finally cracked the password to get into a forum that she could easily made her own account for to see the forum post.
I kept seeing people online were like, why didn't she just make her own account? And it's like, I thought she wanted to log in and see what Chelsea's been doing private messages.
Not Chelsea, Chantel.
Chantel, sorry, yeah. But no, it was just to see posts that Eve had already seen. So
she'd already seen. So Eve also could have just said his screenshots of the post.
That was so convoluted as well that Eve was like, I remember ball and chain thing on a forum once. It's like, do you? Really? This in London, and you're talking to Whitney about it.
What's also made me quite sad is that this woman, Chantel, had opened up her heart on a forum saying basically blow by blow, no pun intended, of things that happened.
2 comments.
One like. One like, one reshare. You know, it's like you think that someone would be like, well, I'm going to actually report, because you can report forum posts to the police. It's absolutely fine. It's not uncommon at all.
I'm wondering if the lawyer that Chantel met when she was planning to leave Gray is going to come out. Because he has all the details.
Well, wasn't that lawyer working for Laura as well? So perhaps he's been talking to Laura as well. This is the point, though.
Get on with it, Laura.
So many people know about this. There's Karat. There's the lawyer who works for Laura. There's Laura the lawyer.
Whitney, the detective.
Yeah, the detective.
Chelsea, the Oscar-winning actress.
But Chelsea's just found out.
Mitch has been a bit iffy for about 3
Mitch this week.
Even before they were on the square, he didn't like Gray.
No, he didn't. So. And he's always suspected something about Gray. And this is something that really ground my gears this week. It's like, so Chelsea finds out after she got married to Gray that actually Gray's a wrong one.
Yeah. Whitney could have shown her the forum post before they got married.
Yes, I mean, there was an opportunity.
She was like, I don't believe you. Okay. And then afterwards she was like, oh, here's the post.
Yeah. Well, no, afterwards then she tried to make out with Gray, thinking that if she could get Gray to kind of have an affair with her last minute or seduce her,
he wouldn't get married.
Which was a poor plan by Whitney, wasn't
stupid,
it? That was a silly plan.
That was just so Chelsea can think that Whitney was making it up.
Yeah, but again, for a very short-term win by the writers. It's like, because
Whitney actually going to sleep with him if it came to it then, knowing that he was a murderer. So, right.
But yeah, so Chelsea runs away to Ibiza.
Yes.
because that's where you go. Stole loads of money from...
in front of everyone.
The club, yeah, stole money from the club. Yeah, she did do it in front of everyone, because she was like, there's your wages in that safe.
I've done a bit of overtime.
Yeah, I'm just adding a few more.
She has a sack with a like, dollar sign on it.
Yeah, a swag bag, like the Hamburglar from McDonald's. She had like a eye mask on, and she stole some of Chantel's jewellery, planning to sell it. Very Costa Cons from Bad Girl, some would say. and she got a taxi, and it was Mitch who drove her.
Of course it was, yeah.
She fell asleep in the taxi.
They're running away from murder, and they used the local cab firm.
Of course you do. And then Gray phones Mitch, and Mitch, without even questioning it, then drives Chelsea home. That's ridiculous.
You could have woken her up and said, "Oh, Chelsea,
yeah,
can we just have a discussion here?"
And then Chelsea, and then there would have been someone else who would.
It annoyed me that Chelsea was fast asleep as well.
Yeah,
she might as well have had a duvet and cushions around her.
Sheep jumping over the cab.
It's like she's just found out her husband's a murderer. She's escaping. She's got adrenaline. She's just stolen and robbed a bank, a club, or a bank.
Rubies.
And then she's like, I'm going to go to sleep now.
Yeah.
Like a deep sleep as well.
I mean, you could argue there was the relief that she was finally getting away, but I wouldn't have felt like that. I would still be on a plane. Until on a plane, exactly. But then would Gray have phoned the pilot and been like, can you turn the plane around?
And land it in Walford.
Yeah. Using this Boeing 737 coming in.
There'll be a plane crash on New Year's Eve.
Very Emmerdale.
Yes, it's all...
It was so annoying.
Everything is by chance or luck. And like, it's not really... thought out,
which is fine.
It's like the forum stuff. Like they've allegedly had this plan for like months or a whole year ahead. But like this forum post, why do they not show Chantel using the forum? Or
exactly,
it's just been invented. It's like a Deus Ex Machina. Is that the word? You just invent something and it solves a plot out of nowhere.
Wait, EastEnders writing crew.
Deus Ex Whitney. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's now a thing. So it's all very by luck and chance. Like, Kirat was like, Gray is so smart, you have to be so careful. It's like, he pushed someone in front of a tube, not knowing the CCTV wasn't on.
But lucky for him, it wasn't. So
exactly,
it's all okay.
What I mean. Everything is just by luck.
Well, Chantel, I'm not saying Chantel's death was by luck, necessarily, but like, it wasn't him. He didn't push Chantel, she tripped and fell.
Yeah, and then he just left her and then bought a bottle.
Yeah, okay, he came up with then the excuse afterwards, dropped the milk bottle, because, you know, he walked...
In shock.
Oh, he was so in shock, he dropped a milk bottle.
I mean, is that... I'm trying to work out what is going to be the thing, because they keep saying it's not enough evidence. It's not enough evidence.
Yeah, but how long can they stretch this story?
That's what I mean. What evidence is there left to have come out?
What's also...
We had Jag's poker chip, that's in the bin. I don't know if that's
evidence. I forgot about Jag's poker chip.
We thought that may play a part. Didn't.
Nothing.
Suki saw him buy a glass bottle of milk. Is that enough evidence? Not really.
No, not really.
They could have examined her body for bruises or thing, but obviously that's come and gone now, so they've lost that. I don't really know what they can possibly do for more evidence, unless another girlfriend from his past is invented. They're like inventing things. Maybe she'll be like, I dated Gray before. Chantel.
There was the counsellor that him and Chantel saw, which Chantel then stopped. I mean,
there's the medium who said there's dark spirits in the house.
Of course, there's the medium.
So she could be
That's strong evidence.
She could be quite handy, I think. But I don't know what else. I mean, it's quite big evidence, the post she was posting, wasn't it? They should just have exposed it to everyone in Walford and they could have just all turned against it.
Well, if they can link it to Chantel, which we know they can because she said that she was in a competition, her email address, and she was in a competition at the Queen Vic. I mean, it all links to her, and it's at least, as you say, it's at least enough evidence to start an investigation. It starts an investigation. And you know...
Because Mitch will then think of all the things he was suspicious of.
But it's just, what's disgusting...
Was Chantel buried or cremated, do we know?
I don't
Funeral off screen.
Of course it is.
Typically.
No one knew.
Would they be able to take her body and
But then they probably
it?
did off screen because then they can rewrite it if they want to. They can just say, oh yeah, she was buried.
Yeah, maybe they take her body and they notice her broken arm and stuff with the nurse, because that nurse gave her that domestic violence thing.
How many weeks before, though, was that? Well, yeah, it would be on an NHS record as well. So
there is a lot of evidence out there.
Yeah, they can speak to the nurse.
Laura needs to speak to that lawyer and then set the ball rolling.
I mean, it's just, we'll just speak to the police. I strongly suspect that Gray, but then they all keep saying as a
he's
kind
clever.
of exactly. They all keep saying he's a solicitor. He knows exactly the right things to say.
He can't keep his job.
Yeah. Well,
why was he fired? Interview Laura. I think he's worse than murderers I've convicted.
Yeah.
Is the word of Laura not going to be strong enough to stand behind?
They've taken the problems with this story is A, it's a year too long. They
2 years too long.
It's been too long. Two, B, they've completely forgotten the domestic violence story. And the moment they started going back round into it, they went straight back out again. It's like they just what? Why? It's disgusting.
And it was really stupid how they had Chelsea hate Gray, and then Whitney loved him, and now they've swapped it around. And Laura was like, Gray likes to be a white saviour, but now they're having Whitney save Whitney.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, well, what are you saying? What are you trying to tell here?
But this is it. What story are they trying to tell with Gray here? If they wanted to have a serial killer storyline, fine, that's not a problem. But
and his dad as well. His dad was in one scene and died. It's like, could he have not?
Well, you can't now.
Mitch, that's what I mean. There's so much they could have explored, and they just didn't.
Well, because
or refused to.
Again, the dad could have confided in Whitney.
Or Mitch.
Did
they know each other?
I think Mitch knew.
Well, he might have been to his wedding. Church on Grace. They must have met the parents, mustn't? At some point.
No, because the parent Gray had distanced himself from his parents. Remember, because he kind of because
he killed the mum. Did he? Did Gray kill his mum?
I think it was insinuated that Gray abused. Yeah, he abused his mum.
Is she still alive?
No, she's died.
Right.
So whether it's
maybe they'll invent Gray has a brother.
I'm sure they can invent anything they like. As you said,
what would he be called? What shade? What colour? My brother Red. He's coming to Walford. He knows what I did to Mum. I don't know how they're going to write themselves out of this, but it needs to have happened 12 months ago.
It's just going round, and it's just exactly. It should have ended a year ago. I mean,
it should have been Tina.
It should have ended on the domestic violence. Tina discovering.
Tina should have been doing what Whitney's doing now, but 12 months ago. Yeah. And she should have discovered the forum posts.
If it ended on the domestic violence story, I don't think anyone would be complaining about the story right now. But it's not, and they've taken a relevant story where they should have delved into it deeper, and then made it, ridiculous, over the top, hyped it up to become something.
The only thing is Tina appears.
I still think Tina's going to come back.
There's no reason he would keep her alive all this time. There's no reason. Where is she? Well, is she in the basement?
What, of the house?
Yeah, where Claudette was buried with her boobs sticking out. Is she down there and Chelsea's not gone down there yet?
Maybe
there'll be a line going, I hear.
But then why did he drive her away? Because there was the blanket. But there's another thing. The blanket was hanging out the boot. Why was that important?
And when Whitney ran over, tried to murder people in his car, that got sent to the police. So is there going to be something in there?
They found no forensic evidence.
Because they found, was it Tina's earring in the car, didn't they? And
no.
Chelsea was having sex with Gray in the car.
And then that's when he took it away, because she said it was her earring.
In the car? Maybe there's something else in there.
Well, after this long time,
I don't know.
I suppose. But Shirley also Shirley's not thick. No. Shirley's actually quite bright. He was
about to blow up the house, wasn't he?
Yeah,
but she stopped him.
The number of excuses he's made about seeing Tina and then realising it's not Tina.
And the money being drawn out.
Yeah. Well, another thing, money got drawn out from a cash machine. All cash machines have cameras on them. They cannot misexcuse that. They cannot. This is what's so frustrating. It's just such a story. And also, why does Gray have two tones? Why does Gray have two levels of being
whisper?
It's either this or it's this. It's no in between. I get that he's
2 shades of grey.
Aggressive. Yeah, he is. He's 2 shades of grey.
But yes, it was. I mean, they had the perfect opportunity to end it on Christmas Eve, Boxing Day. Because they really did do a good job of building up, the people working together, and Kira saying, I've been working in the background secretly, apparently. And they were all teaming up, and it would have been really good for Chelsea to read out the forum posts that Whitney sent her in the Vic when she was reading them, and expose Gray in front of Mitch and Karen, and because there was lots of characters there. It wasn't just extras to react. So there was real characters there. That could have been the perfect time for them to say, we haven't got the evidence, but maybe we could do this sort of, you know, when something happens and everyone on Twitter piles on and says this needs to be looked at, they could have done something like that where they're like, okay, there's quite a lot of public interest, we need to maybe look into this.
Trial by Twitter, almost.
That's what they could have done.
I mean, they've done something similar like that recently with Tiff's post when she had the England flags on her cheeks.
Exactly. Or when Whitney killed Leo.
Yes.
You know? So they just tell Mitch and Karen. It is their daughter, to be fair. So, they might know something. They might say to Mitch this, and he'd be like, "Oh, actually."
Well, Mitch has always suspected
on
him
the wedding day. Sharon did say something funny to me. I don't know, because there is no evidence, so they're going to have to do it by ostracise, like what they used to do to Nick Cotton.
Yeah, chucking him,
go against him, and
I don't want them to kill Gray. They are going to kill Gray. Let's be honest. He's going to die, but. But whether he dies and then you think he's dead and comes back later, we don't know, because they've painted him as a serial killer.
I'm wondering if he's going to do one more kill, or if they're going to try and shift away from his serial killer story now. Because they feel a bit embarrassed by it, I think. I don't know. But will he have one more? Yeah,
but they've tried to go back down the domestic. I mean, this is the thing. This was just the, as you said, the Boxing Day and the Christmas Day episode, the Boxing Day specifically, actually was quite, when I was watching Chelsea trying to run away, I did genuinely feel angst and like, oh God, I hope she gets away.
Outside Greg, and it's like, and you then literally roll your eyes like, here we are again.
Here we are, yeah. And
they get to this real good point, and it's like, oh, this is actually quite exciting, and then it's like, oh no, back to where we started.
Back flat again. And you saw Gray opening the door, and he's like, welcome home. He's like, welcome home.
I mean, it's difficult to keep building that tension up to a point to then, oh no, there's one more twist, and it's like, oh, you're like so ready to orgasm and you can't.
To climb.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, just get on with it.
Just finish it.
Get me going, please.
But like everyone thought that the Grey story was going to end at Christmas. No. And no, I cannot.
It's going to be February 19th, surely now.
Do you reckon it's anniversary week?
Yeah,
I do.
Because wasn't there like a comment like something about Easter? Like, we'll be
February's not Easter.
Was it something? There was something like, oh, I'll be buried under the concrete by Easter or something. Was there that weird comment like under the? It sounded like Brookside.
I do remember that because we both said it was like a Brookside.
I'll be under the patio or something.
So do you think they're going to do that then? They're going to kill Gray and then bury him, and they'll stretch out another year where they'll all be like trying to find out like where's Gray, and then all of a sudden
Mitch will be his best friend.
Exactly. All of a sudden, everyone will suddenly start thinking about how great Gray was.
Possibly.
Oh well.
I really wanted it to like get to a real good end, but it didn't. So I left.
You didn't get your climax?
No, I didn't.
No.
I left unsatisfied.
No.
Right, so we
come on then. Last one. I think it's last one. Yeah, last one. Is it you?
Oh, I'll hold it then.
Okay, sorry.
God.
Wow.
For the audience.
Yes, and for the viewers on YouTube.
It's the last one.
It's the very last one. The very last story of this Christmas.
What it is.
It would be Janine and Mick, the spouse in the house.
Oh, God.
Spouse in the house.
Yes.
So it's quite a short story, really.
Yes,
it's long and short.
She keeps smirking and putting her tongue out, doesn't she? You noticed that Janine does that.
Okay.
Yeah, she's Jessie Nelson.
What, the Capital
Jingle Ball, yeah. Yes, Janine. She,
down. God, you got that in my head now. Come on!
That's what Janine keeps doing. Have you not noticed her do it?
Jessie, formerly of Little
She literally is. She's like one step away from winking at the camera. Yeah, she's like, she likes a bit of Mick, I think.
Or
does she? I don't know if she has like a daddy sort of issue. She keeps mentioning Frank, doesn't she, around him, and they're quite similar the way they're a bit.
Although it's a bit sick.
Does she see her dad in him a little bit?
Her dad. I think she loved Frank, but she didn't.
No, but maybe it's like it's daddy issues. That's what Whitney had with Mick as well, wasn't it?
That's true. I mean, that's something that surprises me, that they haven't somehow got Whitney kind of. Sorry, Whitney's busy, isn't she?
Well, yeah, they could get Janine involved in the Grey stuff. She'll sort it out.
Do you know what I've just remembered? And it's something we used to always mention on the podcast. No, Whitney still hasn't paid for that dog crate.
Oh, Vincent.
Yeah.
She'll get sent down for his murder, probably. Yeah. Phil,
we've got
new evidence.
We got a receipt here for a dog crate. Unpaid.
But Gray's a murder. No, he's not. You're talking rubbish. Get her out there. Keep Gray another year.
Yeah, keep him in.
Yeah, the dog crate she bought when she was a kleptomaniac for like a week.
For a week. With Woody Woodward.
Oh yeah, in the shopping mall.
We've got a new Woody on the show now. Ben and Callum.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Ben and Callum's their
No, you didn't see their Christmas. They're quite Christmas alone. Their one happy Christmas in 3 years, we didn't see it.
Yeah, that's true.
They only show it when they're breaking up.
When they were doing shenanigans.
So yeah, Janine, she's just doing I don't care about Janine. Yeah, well, it's just really stupid the things she's doing. She's bought a horse called Pat.
Yeah, I liked that though. I like that she named it after Pat.
And it's going to stay in the stable down the road, apparently.
I mean, it's just
Do they have stables? I don't know.
They do now, because they've written it in. I mean, again...
It's probably in the back of the laundrette. Cat's new business.
Cat stables.
Oh, we do horse riding.
We'll muck it out for you as well, don't you worry.
Around the square gardens.
I mean, it wasn't a small horse either. It wasn't like a miniature pony or anything like
white
that.
Christmas
and
horse,
does Scarlett have any lessons in riding a horse or anything like that? Because as I've watched from an episode of The Simpsons, when Lisa got the horse with a salt lick, it's not just the horse and the stable fee.
No.
Which, how is Janine paying for that alone?
That's what I wondered, because she told Liam, she was like, because he's so dumb, she was like, don't spend the money, don't show it to anyone. And now she's bought a horse in a stable, which costs thousands.
Helmet, the uniform, the whip, I presume. I don't know what you do need for horses. It's not been my thing.
It's there's a lot of work. Twice a day they have to go there. Morning,
let them out. Well, although it's stables in inner city London, so I don't know how much room there is. I just imagine Scarlett just riding around London, going around and around,
up and down the Thames.
That was so silly, wasn't it? That was just like, why? What?
Well, it is silly because Janine's allegedly poor and she doesn't even have anywhere to live, does she? Unless she's sharing with the Pat in the stable.
Maybe she's
sleeping in the stable.
No, she's staying in the Vic, isn't she?
No, not for long. She's naked in the bed.
Exactly.
She did a Sonia.
She did.
With Phil.
Yeah. And
in the same room as well. And same camera shot.
And with Kush as well, there was the...
with Bex in the shower. That was good. That was funny. That was Bex's peak moment, I feel.
And she was naked.
Oh, yeah.
That was a moment for us to relish.
Yeah, because she kissed him under the mistletoe, didn't she? But he kind of backed away. And that's when she did her wink thing at the camera. There.
See, do you think that he pulled away? Because he no.
Well, he did. It was quite a long one before he pulled away, but
I just got Jessie in my head.
But he did sort of put away and then go serve a pint, didn't he? So
I mean, what's Nancy going to think of all this? Because Nancy's already warned her off once, but then
and Shirley.
Yeah, but Shirley, I don't know what Shirley's up to, but Nancy got packed off this week because Nancy and Zack might be a thing again soon, mightn't they? So that was nice, because that's when Janine used that as an opportunity to get in bed. Or inside Mick's bed. Not inside Mick.
Purple silk sheets, yeah. And she keeps learning things about Linda, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Billy told her, everything. She's an alcoholic. She had an affair with Matt. She's got a baby.
They've gone through
I
so
thought
much
they
together.
wanted to keep that secret. That's why she's left Walford in the first place, wasn't it?
No, because people did find out about it, and so she was
Rainey
embarrassed.
Shouted it.
Yeah. Well, no, Rainey could put out the flyers. Remember, it's like, who's the daddy? Oh, God's sake!
Public interest.
Another blooming.
No, they should get Rainey on the grey stuff. She'll print out some flyers.
Yeah.
Who kills Chantal? Question mark.
Who's the murderer?
20% discount code Curly Queen.
Curly Queen. Yeah, just quote Curly Queen. You'll get a discount funeral. See, she'd have got Rainey on the case.
And she's got a snow machine. She had quite a big set, Janine, didn't she?
Janine, yeah.
Limited budget.
She got Billy to wrap up woks and salad tossers.
Spinners, yes.
Yeah, salad spinners for
kids. I don't
kids.
really get where they came from. He said he spent money on them.
I don't think he did. Don't forget, he's got a business. He's got the tat stall, hasn't he, on the market? So he just empties houses.
Well, that salad spinner was one of the best things I've seen him
sell.
They
all look brand new, to be perfectly honest.
But yeah, the Janine thing was just all silly fluff, really.
It was fluff.
I'm not here for her and Mick.
I quite enjoyed the spouse in the house bit when Janine rewrote all the questions.
No, yeah, for Eve and Stacey.
For all
Who's
of them.
a murderer?
Yeah.
Everyone stands up.
Yeah, because it was like Mr. and Mrs. where they had to say which one was which, yeah.
Mrs. and Mrs.
Well, in that case, but in Jay and Honey's case, it was Mr. and Mrs. Janine...
It was mother and son.
I want to, because again, you've not been on the podcast, so I want to ask you about Janine. Okay. So, how do you feel like if you were to grade or you were to give like a?
I've already graded her in my tier list on YouTube.
Oh,
which you can find in the top corner.
Yeah, we'll pop it in there now. Don't forget to watch all our tier lists.
I haven't liked Janine's return at all.
You've not liked it. What did you expect for her to? Because I expected her to come back with a huge, impactful bang.
Well, I expected her to have a purpose or.
Like any
planned story for her, but she's kind of just she had a house fire thing, and then she had
no aftermath.
She had a thing with Scarlett, which didn't really do anything.
No
and
aftermath.
Now she's a barmaid behind the Vic.
Some aftermath.
And it's all a bit like, well, what's the point? Like, you could literally be anyone.
The fire was ridiculous. It was like nothing came of it. Yeah. Like Tommy broke his leg.
He was running around, wasn't he? After his broken leg the other day.
Wait, after he can't
kick a football, but he can run around.
Well, football is quite hard, isn't it? You know, it's full of air. You know, it can be quite painful on the old, leg.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Janine has. They've spent 3 months embedding her in, I guess. Everyone kind of hates her still. But she's like basically a comedy character.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is worse than her, so she's actually not that bad.
This is the thing though, in a square full of
Greys and Whitney. Like Whitney's tried to murder someone a few weeks ago. Now she's trying to take down the murderer.
If you make all your characters on the programme basically malicious, murderous, bad, horrible people, then when you introduce one which has been notorious for being one, it's just like dropping the ocean. It just means nothing. It's meaningless.
Yes, it's my throat's gone now. I've talked too much. I've talked too much.
We've done this for such a long time. Do you know what though? We normally do we normally at the end of the show, and that is I Am Want to Gossip.
Yes.
Where we read out all the tweets, not all the tweets, a selection of tweets and Instagram posts, and also this week a post on our not our Facebook group, our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment below, and also at the end of the episode, I'll give you all the details of how you can get in touch with us.
You know me, I ain't want to gossip.
Wonderful.
But are you ready to open up your ears?
Of course.
Do you want a bit of coffee?
Well, I was going to have some coffee, but there's glitter in my cup.
Would you like some of mine?
No.
Okay, have some water.
This is offset.
Your water bottle. Do you know what? I'm going to tell a story about that water bottle. On Christmas Day, Ben, I heard this loud thump. This huge, great big thump. And a bit of scream. And, oh no! From Ben. Panicking, thinking that Ben had broken something. Fallen downstairs. I go running out the kitchen. Well, you wouldn't be dead because you shouted, oh no.
Laura Bill.
I go running to the bottom of the stairs and went, is everything okay? And you were like, my water bottle. So
it's traumatic.
Traumatic for me, yes. Anyway, Sade Thomas on our YouTube channel commented and said, Christmas and Boxing Day episode is the biggest slap in the face ever. There was a perfect chance to finally end this storyline. 2 years. Chantal has been dead for a year and 3 months. Tina a year and Kush for 9 to 10 months. This is a complete joke, which is absolutely sick.
I agree. So I saw someone say something somewhere that this grey storyline has been gone so long that at one point he was advising Mel about Hunter. That's how long it's been going on for.
God.
Mel and Hunter feels like
a millennia ago. A lifetime ago.
A different show.
Yeah, it does feel like a different show.
When I read that, I was like, wow. Really? New Michelle was around? Oh, God. So,
yeah, so it was during New Michelle?
Well, she was kind of there, wasn't she?
But do you remember when Grey and Chantal were first introduced? There was no kind of hint of a domestic...
No, it was their big thing, wasn't it? Behind closed doors.
Yeah,
so it was the marathon.
That's it. It wasn't. It was 10K. It was 10K. And Mitch cheated.
Yes.
And that was the best when we learned that Mitch and Grey
hate each other.
Yeah.
But now they don't.
Now they're best friends. Exactly. Now Mitch is best friend.
They somehow managed to build up the tension again after all this of fluff, and then they've just dropped it again. So, oh well.
On Twitter, at mental_euphemia. I guess I got that right. Has said they torpedoed the original domestic violence storyline by making him a serial killer. Now they're making it go full circle, returning to domestic violence with Chelsea at the centre. But that ship has sailed. They've wasted so much time that the impact is no longer there.
Yes. Also, I don't think they can't do the domestic violence with Chelsea because she knows too much.
Also, she
knows. Oh yeah, but she knows he's a murderer, so she's not going to stay around for...
I mean, he could mentally abuse her. I'm presuming that's what they're going to do. But they can't...
Sorry.
That's okay, but they can't physically abuse her because remember when Chantal was pregnant, Chantal used it as an excuse for him not to hit her.
That's true. That's like her protection for now.
That was her protection. So, but this is what I'm... well, actually, I'm not worried about that at all because I know about something. So do you. So there you go.
Was that all?
Would you like more tweets?
I don't know.
I can tell.
The way you built it up, it was like the Grey storyline. That was like Christmas Day, that was. You built that up to be some big thing and then left us all wanting more.
I've learned from the best. I've learned from watching EastEnders,
Yeah.
I mean, we could just briefly, if you wanted to quickly talk about, because we love talking about ratings on this show, we can talk about how EastEnders came last of the 3 soaps, even though Emmerdale and Coronation Street was released in the morning on their video player,
yes, that's
ITV Hub.
Not good. EastEnders used to be like... You used to watch EastEnders at Christmas, even if you didn't watch EastEnders, didn't you?
But there's been so many posts on Twitter, basically people saying, Soz, one of our friends on Twitter, did a great big thread saying every single story that's happened this year.
Even John Sen liked it. So it must have been a good thread.
It must have been.
Even John Sen got on Twitter.
John Sen likes nothing from us.
He unfollows us.
He unfollows us. But no, he's going to do...
I don't know why. Yeah, it's like those threads on those jokes on Twitter, like, we have to catch up on EastEnders. They're like more popular
than the actual watching
of watching it, which is weird because it got just under 3 million, didn't it?
2.9.
So just under 3 million.
by 100,000, yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit... I mean, it wasn't a great time slot. I don't know what Boxing...
Oh my God, why did they put it on so late?
Boxing Day was even later.
But there was no reason for it. Loads of people thought, and I did too, that there must be something huge happening.
Yeah, Grey's downfall's happened. Everyone was like, it's on at 10 p.m. Boxing Day. It's going to be so dark.
It's going to be a big, violent episode. No, 10 p.m.
We've got New Year's to look forward to, though, because they released instead of an 18-second trailer, which Christmas got, this one is a 36-second one.
Twice the length.
And twice the fun.
Double the flavour, double the fun.
There's a big party, like a New Year's Eve party in the Albert, which Dana is like dancing to. And there's stuff about the Aaron stuff, so...
Which is the Monroe story, which I find infinitely more interesting.
They went to Joanne's Cafe, though, have we?
That's fine, because I don't mind, because I'm interested in the Monroe story. The Grey story, I'm not.
I was at one point.
No, the beginning I thought it was great. Yeah, I was really enjoying the story between him and Chantel. And then they killed Kush and ruined it for everyone.
What about Tina?
I mean, and Tina, but then Tina's not dead in my head.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Yes, anyway.
Lovely.
There you go.
Hey, well, don't forget you can join us every week where we're doing our podcast. Not Ben, but with Rob, who we missed dearly, didn't we? Hello, Rob. I'm sure you're watching. You can watch our podcast on YouTube, or you can listen on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you're listening to us on Spotify, please don't forget to rate us as well, because you can rate us.
It's a new thing, isn't it? Now?
Yeah, you can rate us on Spotify. How exciting. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram just by looking up Walford Weekly. At Walford Weekly is our tag. You can find our Facebook group where there's lots of conversations on that, isn't there? There's the after show discussion on there as well. Just search Walford Weekly Podcast. And on YouTube, just search Walford Weekly.
So there you go. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you had a lovely, lovely time.
And we'll see you next week for the New Year's roundup.
Yes.
Which is set to be explosive.
Exquisite.
Literally explosive, though. That was what I was getting at, because of the bomb.
I know, I'm just trying to kind of
Merry Christmas,
misdirect
everyone.
people. Merry Christmas!
Bye!